Yeah, no, that's understandable. I mean, we've got Danny here, and but I wanted to get to the fact how he is here, and we can't talk about how Melvin, how his loss. I mean, I think he passed 2019, and I think the next year we had the pandemic. A lot of us started losing loved ones and things, but um,
Hmm.
and he had such a from those of us who are just as fans, so that sort of a quiet personality, but such a big voice, and such a he just seemed like a big giant, but calm giant and stuff. Um, when you reflect on him as a performer, as a brother, as a friend, think people that, as I said, who didn't know don't know him as personally as you guys. What are the things that you would say that what we've missed?
My brother Melvin was a force. you know, um, would do anything for you. If you were ever in need, he was there for you. But I also know that he was a very loving father. Cared very deeply about his kids, his sons, and daughters. Um, and he had such a strong passion and a understanding of music in a way that I didn't. It was just music was in him from early on. It was quite a natural thing for him. Uh, it wasn't anything he had to think about, and you didn't have to. With Melvin, you didn't give him much direction at all when he walked into the studio, into the booth. He quite honestly knew his way without having to take any direction. Because I mean, he was just a soulful guy who had his finger on the pulse. You get me in the booth, okay, what y'all want me to do? What am I doing? Hey, I don't know what like Melvin's gonna sing. He gonna hear the harmonies. He gonna put some soul on top of it, and but when it was done, he was out. I did it. He knocked it out, and that was it. Nothing else. I'm not gonna give you anything more. I finished it. It's done. That's I did exactly what was needed, and that's who he was. And it was the same thing. I mean, he loved music. He loved the performance of music. He loved being in the studio. But I mean, when I get in the studio, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get it done. Now he might smoke a cigarette before he come in there. Oh, it's time to go in. Boom, put the cigarette out. Go on into the studio, ripped apart, come on back out. That was my brother Melvin, and you know, he was just like I said, he was a force to be reckoned with. And the same thing for live performance. He wanted things right on stage so that he could give his best. Is what it always was. But he was always so very natural. Um, I recall early on when we were talking about deciding who's going to do what, who's going to sing what. I was prepared to not sing any leads because uh, prior to becoming a member of After Seven, I really didn't know what my voice was.
Mm.
So any song and every song that I used to sing, I would absolutely emulate whoever it was. So if it was Luther, if it was Peebo Bryson, whoever it was, that's who I was. That's how I delivered it. But Melvin always had his own voice. And because he had his own voice early on, they thought, well, Melvin's going to be the lead singer. And I was like, okay, I'll do background. And I was cool with that. But it wasn't until we got into the studio that, they figured, okay, we got this part, let you sing this part. Well, I had no idea. No one's ever sung this part before. Well, no one's ever sung the part. No,
Okay.
you were going to sing this part. And so me being an After Seven was the first time I really learned what my voice was. But Melvin came in there like like I said, a force to be like a force of nature. He was a champion in there, and everything that he put on, he just had so much flavor in everything that he did. But like I said, father, he was a loving husband and a good brother. He and I, we had our rounds because that's what brothers do. But we had love and respect for each other, and I miss him. I'm sorry that he's gone, but I know that you know I know that he's watching. I know that he's here with us in spirit. He gave me a thumbs up on that dude over there, that guy Danny Sky High McLean. He liked what Danny was doing, so he gave Danny a thumbs up before we brought Danny into the fold. So he was all good with it, you know.
Okay, was was he still alive when Danny joined?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, so how did that work out? Because I know that Jason was with you guys initially before
Right.
and stuff. So how did that sort of arrangement happen where
Keith, let me say this. For the record, this man got too much information. Well, he know he got too much info. He's breaking it all the way down. Jason had been with us probably for a good probably 10 years, probably, right? Off, 10 years, 8 to 10 years, maybe more longer, 13.
Yeah, 13.
Wow.
So that he had been with us for quite some time, and I think initially I think it was a place that Jason wanted to be, and it was cool because he had a voice as well. I think over time, the thing that you think this is not what it is ultimately. Um, and I think just over time it wasn't what I think he thought it was going to be, and to be, to stand in the gap for your father is one thing, but is it what you really want? And I think part of that was coming into play, and why things kind of started to go a little south for us, and that I think maybe it was just time to make a new transition. It's kind of what I felt it was, at that point. And sometimes we make changes. We just have to make some changes. And trust me when I tell you, they're not any easy decisions to make or to execute. But that's kind of how that was. And at that point, then we decided to bring Danny into the fold. So.
Yeah, I mean, how was Danny discovered then? When you decided, and with Melvin still around?
I've been talking too much. Danny, handle that.
Yeah. How did you? Was there notes in the ads or something? Did you see in Yellow Pages or something? Or what?
Yellow Pages. No, actually, I was blessed with the opportunity of working with Daryl Simmons on a project.
Silent partner.
Yeah, Mr. Silent Partner himself. And he's that kind of guy, man. He'll take care of you, when he knows your heart is in it for the right reason. So out of the blue, I just received a call from Kevon, and it was like April, March, or something like that of 2019. But I received the call. Kevon was like, "Hey, are you interested?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." I didn't even second guess it. It was just a matter of, okay, well, let's see if you fit the mold first. Can you dance? Can you, do choreography? Are you aware of the kind of work that After Seven is going to be doing, the kind of touring and, all that other stuff, you know what I mean? Because this is a level different from the level that I'm used to.
What were you used to?
Industry.
What were you used to?
Previous, before After Seven, I was just a working musician. I in Atlanta. I moved down to Atlanta just to pay my dues, if you will, because I knew, I wanted to make a living out of singing. It wasn't just a matter of, I want to be a superstar. The superstar thing was going to be a plus, but you gotta love this thing called music. You gotta love this thing, because you'll get a whole lot of no's before you get yeses. And even still, you got to keep pushing. And these guys right here, they understood that about me, and I understood that about them, considering their story. So, and even Daryl understood that about me too. He knew my heart was in it for the right reason, which is why I'm so blessed that he was that he passed my name over to Kevon. So once he passed my name over to Kevon gave me a call. I shot him over some music videos or videos that I had on YouTube of my live performances. He heard what I could do in the studio. I was like, yeah, okay, I see what you do, but as a soloist or whatnot. But how are you in a group setting? How do you cooperate and things of that nature? So then he got me with Keith, and Keith got me on the ones and twos. It was like, okay, and one, and two, and three. And but Keith got me right. I had the choreography down in a couple of months, in a few months or whatever. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to speak with Mr. Melvin Edmonds, which would have totally made my day. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that the guys told me that he gave me the thumbs up just gave me the drive to represent the brand that much harder. So by the time we hit that first gig in May of 2019, it was just up and away.
Oh. Did it feel pressure? Because I mean, Melvin is such a, as I said, such a heartbeat of the group. Did you feel nervous about actually taking on the role and think, this might, I may not get the response from the audience, so maybe this is a risk too far?
There were a few thoughts that were going on in my head. One was, oh man, I know this song's front to back. I got this. But then there was another part of me, by the time, once it started getting real, once we started doing the shows, that's when the anxiety started hitting, like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. This is Melvin Evans here. Like, this is a mantle that you can't just jump on. You know what I'm saying? I still needed to prove myself to the millions of fans around the world that love After Seven. So I had to humble myself for a second or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, let me put in the work, and I'm not scared of proving myself. So let me put in the work, show what I can do, and what made it easy was knowing that Kevon and Keith, gave me the thumbs up enough to say, you got this, man. We got your back, and if it's a matter of letting the fans know, show it in your work, show what you can do on the stage, and that's what I did. And that was that level, because once we got in the studio, that was another level.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get to the studio. You guys were at the Yossi's in Oakland back in early August. A friend of mine, Elise, she goes to all the concerts, so she was filming, and I saw the performance. You guys were all wearing white, and it's hard to tell that there's an age difference between the three of you, because Kevon and Melvin, it's almost as if Danny's come in and he's like, okay, we need to make sure he doesn't look any younger than us and stuff, because you guys are wearing all dressed and all looking fit, and he's like, my goodness, you wouldn't tell there's a big age difference. But I could, but the comfort you had, Danny, in leading the songs, it was like, wow. And the way you guys all interchange, I was like, wow, really, really impressed by how seamless it just comes about. And it's learning the choreography, because, as I said, from Can't Stop and Ready or Not, you guys constantly perform. They're constantly performing, even when they're singing slow songs. I look back at the Apollo when you guys did Ready or Not, and you're wearing some, like, I don't know if you remember that performance. You're wearing some baggy whites and sort of baggy white sort of outfits, but you guys did a lot of the dancing routines before you sing, and so there's a lot of performance in that, I've said. But you got it seamlessly and stuff.
Yeah, I did my homework. I did the best that I could. I mean, even still before that, again, I when I was younger, I locked and loaded into Soul Train and Showtime at the Apollo, and
Yeah.
you know, whatever performances that I could find when I was younger, and it just made things easier now that you got YouTube and everything, so you could find everything on there. So I studied the crap out of Melvin and no, for real, and just kind of honed in on the brand of After Seven. It was one thing being a fan, now being a part of the group. I I I understood that the brand of After Seven was was what mattered, you know, to me, so much so that I needed to put in the work to make sure that I was, you know, on par with these guys been building this empire for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
it wasn't that hard, but it wasn't that easy.
hey everyone, I want to thank you for being part of Halftime Chats. This new update is really about our membership, and I'm really excited to be able to fully launch the membership page. There will be things like full interviews from day one. As soon as the interview drops, you get access to it without any ads on it. There'll be some exclusive member-only videos that will just be some behind-the-scenes stuff and some other things that we will never be broadcast. For some members, you can be able to get actually 2 interviews, because I do have a backlog of almost 7 or 8 interviews that I don't even know when I'm going to be able to broadcast them. So you're able to get at least some of those up front, and some just behind the scenes stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that I have never been able to talk about or release. For anyone else, you know what, the videos will still be the same over a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks, depending on how long it is. So everything stays the same. The polls stay the same. The community chats, the community stuff stays the same. But I think with the membership stuff, I'm able to add a little bit more and invest a lot more time and energy in really supporting the members. So I do hope you come on that ride with me. I appreciate the support, and this will just help me continue to invest in taking things to the next level. Take care.